Let's talk about the United States Navy. It looks like it could be on the brink of one of the biggest strategic shifts we've seen in decades. Today, we're going to unpack this ambitious proposal for what's being called the Golden Fleet, a plan that could completely redefine American power on the seas. Every big plan starts by identifying a big problem. And according to this proposal, the U.S. Navy has a serious one. Its fleet is getting old. The source material paints this picture of ships being old and tired, which really sets the stage for a pretty radical solution. And that solution? Well, it's got a name: the Golden Fleet. It's this whole vision for a totally revitalized American naval force, one that's built around a brand new generation of warships. Okay, so what exactly is in this proposal? Let's break it down. We're going to start with the announcement itself, and then we'll get into the nitty-gritty of these so-called Trump-class battleships. After that, we'll look at the plan's vision for American industry, and finally, we'll dig into the grand geopolitical strategy behind the whole thing. At the very heart of this Golden Fleet idea is a pretty shocking comeback: the battleship. Yeah, that class of warship that most of us thought was, left in the history books. Now it's being proposed as the future centerpiece of the U.S. Navy. So the proposal kicks off with a really bold first move, building 2 massive new battleships right out of the gate. And this is a huge deal because it would be the first time the U.S. has even commissioned this class of ship in over 30 years. That signals a major, major pivot in naval strategy. And get this, those first 2 ships, they're just the beginning. The vision laid out is to scale up fast, moving to 10 ships, with the ultimate goal of creating a fleet of 20 to 25 of these new behemoths. That would fundamentally reshape the entire surface fleet. Okay, so what are these new ships really like? Let's dive into the specifics of this new class, because it comes with some incredibly ambitious claims about its power and its capabilities. So, they're calling it the Trump class, and the first one off the line is slated to be the USS Defiant. And the language being used here, well, it doesn't leave much to the imagination. It's being called the most powerful and versatile warship ever conceived. To really get a sense of the scale here, just look at the comparison to the legendary Iowa-class battleships from World War II. This new class is described as bigger, longer, built with very powerful steel, and, this is the wildest part, 100 times more powerful.
Let's just pause on that number for a second. 100 times. That 100x figure was a huge talking point in the announcement. But what does that even mean? Well, the source doesn't get into the specific metrics, but the number itself is meant to signal a massive quantum leap in naval power.
So where is all that claimed power supposed to come from? Well, the proposal outlines a weapons suite that sounds like something straight out of science fiction. We're talking hypersonic missiles, electric railguns, high-powered lasers, and even nuclear-armed cruise missiles, all supposedly coordinated by advanced AI systems. This plan is about way more than just ships. It's tied to a much, much bigger vision for America's industrial base, with a laser focus on reviving the nation's shipbuilding capacity. The proposal really harkens back to the industrial might of World War II. A time when American shipyards were churning out ships at an unbelievable rate. The fall from that peak is framed as a national tragedy, and it's a tragedy this new plan is designed to reverse. And listen, this isn't just a friendly suggestion, it's a whole new mandate for defense contractors. The plan demands faster production schedules, more investment in new facilities, and a big shift in corporate spending, away from high executive salaries and stock buybacks, and toward reinvesting in the actual industrial base. Okay, so we have the ships, and we have the industrial plan. But why? What's this all for? The announcement laid out some very clear geopolitical goals for the Golden Fleet. The entire project is built on that classic philosophy, peace through strength. The core idea is that having overwhelming military power is the single most effective way to deter conflict and keep the world stable. The specific goals are pretty blunt: inspire fear in adversaries, reestablish total American naval supremacy, and serve as a powerful symbol of national strength. And these battleships, they would also act as the nerve centers, the flagships for entire naval battle groups. This quote from the source material just perfectly sums up the intended strategic shift. For decades, the #1 question in any global crisis has always been, where are the carriers? The goal here is to add a second, equally powerful question to the mix: where are the battleships? So, when you put it all together, you've got this massive plan for a new fleet of hyper-advanced battleships, a vision to rebuild American industry, and a strategy of peace through strength. It challenges decades of naval thinking that has always favored aircraft carriers and smaller, faster ships. It really leaves us with a huge question. Could a return to the era of the big gun battleship actually be the future of naval power?